Okay, so we're talking about what it means to write research papers and why we need to write them. And we talked a little bit about, we saw yesterday the types of research papers that we write, that we search for information, we search to persuade somebody, or we search to prove a fact. Okay? But why do you need to learn how to write a research paper, other than the fact that you're in 8th grade English? You know, what's the point? Amelia?
To find information.
Right, to help you find information. Any other ideas? Why do you need to learn how to formally write a research paper? Oh, Caleb?
To do good in school?
Yeah, it does. It helps you do well in school. But understand that people write research papers to further a study on a particular topic. People that use research the most are people that research in the field. Academics, people that work at universities, do nothing but research usually. And what they do is they work on tests and experiments, and they collect data, and they then report their findings so other people who don't do the field research can read what they've discovered, and then they can gain information or knowledge from it. For example, my daughter works in the plant pathology lab at Michigan State University. She's been working for a researcher there for the past 4 years. Dr. Hammerschmidt is researching specific kinds of plant bugs and viruses and things like that that help with our food production. So his research can lead to better growing of certain plants or better ways to protect our food source. So that's kind of important information for us to know, and he's conducting the research. Once he does the research, then he writes that information up and reports it in scientific journals. That's where we would go get his research for our own research paper. So oftentimes we have a lot of people in our world that do medical research. They research cultural shifts, political information. They research things in the humanities, like what's going on over in the Ukraine right now. They'll research everything that happened with that, and they'll write up all these reports. So research is a major job. There are an awful lot of people out there that have jobs tied directly to conducting research. Another example of research is when your English professor is researching about historical things. They do a lot of digging, they read a lot of primary documents, and then they write up these papers about these particular people or events in history. Another reason people write research papers is to help someone who's working in another field. And I gave the example earlier today about teachers. Miss Robinson and I have to do a lot of research. We might try to figure out what's the best way to teach a subject, or we might try to figure out, I've been doing a lot of research lately on this Smarter Balanced Assessment test that's coming out, and what can I do to help you guys be prepared so that the people down in Lansing understand what we already know about kids at Sutton's Bay, and that's that you're the greatest kids out there. So how are we going to prove that on this test? How are we going to show them what we know? Okay? My husband is a lumber salesman. He goes out and he calls on builders. And he goes out and finds, what do they need? What products do you need to make this house safe, or what products do you need for building? They go, well, I need this to protect the roof from moving or swaying in high winds. He goes back to his office and he researches and looks for products that will help solve that problem. And then he finds that information and he gives it to his builders. So even in a job like a lumber salesman, he's conducting research all the time. So you're thinking, okay, that's great if you're working. All you adults need all this research, but you're a kid, so why would you need to bother to do research? Okay? You don't have anything, you're not experts in your field, you can't contribute to a field of study, so it might just feel confusing to you. But there are several reasons why it's important for you to learn how to do research and write it up in a form of a paper. One, you will learn how to avoid plagiarism. Okay? I'll talk more about plagiarism later in the unit. We'll kind of hone in and target specifically at what plagiarism is and how to avoid it. But the sooner you learn how to write without plagiarizing, the better. You've already been doing some of it with some of the stuff we've done in 7th grade and the first part of 8th grade, so you have an idea, but we're going to really kind of figure out what it looks like. They help you learn more about a topic. You'll find that as you move up through school, you'll have to do research papers specifically to learn more about a certain subject or a topic. So not only do you learn the information, you then are going to interpret that information and report it in your own words and in your own, kind of blended with your own ideas and your own opinions based on the topic. Now, you might be thinking that a research paper is nothing but facts. It is very factual, but what we want to see is how you interpret that information. And how are you going to present it? It also helps improve your overall writing skills. And if you don't think writing skills are important, you are just kidding yourself. I know that I'm the English teacher, and that's why you think I should be saying that to you, but there isn't anything that you're going to be doing down the road where your writing skills do not become critical. You're going to have to take the PLAN test this year as 8th graders, and in high school you're going to have to take the Smarter Balanced Assessments, the MME, and the ACT college prep exams. You have to take that in order to get out of high school. When you're in college, you might take a GRE or an MCAT or an LSAT. So testing is becoming part of your life. It's part of our life. Ms. Robinson and I have to deal with it as well as lots of other people. Nurses have to take tests all the time. Doctors have to take tests. Pharmacists have to take tests. They have to be current in their fields.
Well, Mrs. Brandon, if I could interject, a lot of times when you write, people are judging you on your writing. So, if you're a smart person, you need to be able to write in a smart way because, if you're a smart person, you can't write very well. People can't see your smartness.
Correct. And I'm just going to repeat what you said so the video can hear it. So what you were just to repeat it, what you're saying is your writing reflects on who you are. And there's a great word for you to learn, and it's called articulate. Are you able to articulate what's in your head to someone else? And that's most often done through writing or through speaking. If you don't speak or write intelligently, then they don't think you're a very smart person, and you can be a very smart person. So it's very important to learn the writing skills. Sometimes your papers might get put on the internet for one reason or another, and then other people will be reading your work and using your research to support theirs. So that's kind of a cool thought when you think about it, going, hey, I might research this topic, it gets posted online, and some other kid in another school goes, hey, I cited Nolita Chippewa's paper. Here's a quote right from her paper. Okay, so that's kind of cool too. It's not easy to learn how to write a research paper. As a matter of fact, it's hard work. It's a lot of hard work. But I want you to understand that it is a step-by-step process. It's not like, here, go write a research paper and I'll see you in 3 weeks. It's not going to be like that. We're going to walk you through it step by step. We're going to ask you to do step 1, then we're going to ask you to do step 2, then we're going to ask you to do step 3. Okay? So when you get to college, and we hear this all the time from our graduates who come back, Mrs. Willie hears it a lot because she's the last English teacher that they have. They come back and they say, I really knew what to do. Thank you. I was assigned these research papers. I was assigned to write this analysis paper. I had to do this persuasive speech in front of my college class. But because we did it in high school here at Suttons Bay, they knew exactly what to do. So they didn't feel like they were ill-prepared at all. Okay, so don't worry. We're going to walk you through it step by step. But the most important thing you need to remember is that if you fail to do the work here in class, you're going to load yourself up with homework like you've never seen before. In other words, Ms. Robinson and I are going to provide you with class time to work on these steps, and we're going to be here to support you and work on them together. If you choose not to use this class time, you're going to load yourself down with homework. If you choose not to do this in class or at home, then there's nothing I can do about it. So you have to decide right now, are you choosing to be educated and learn this skill, or are you going to choose to just sit and do nothing? Okay? So think about your choices and how important they are. You really do want to get a good grade in language arts. And if you follow our steps and work here in class, then that will probably happen. Okay? And we're here to help you with that. Any questions?